And welcome to the March of the Nations in Be'er Sheva. My name is Anna Suzette, but many of you, my friends, call me also Seti. And I'm very, very glad that we can have this march here in Be'er Sheva this year.
תודה רבה ללהקת באר שבע. ברוכים הבאים למצעד העמים 2024. אני דנה.
As we heard in the song, there was one line, "Ten lanu koach od va'od," give us strength again and again. And this is also what we hope from this march, that it will give you strength again and again. And we know that times are not easy, but the more it is important that we are allowed to be here with the message, Israel, you are not alone.
כמו בשיר. כמו בשיר שאנחנו מבקשים שאלוהים ייתן לנו כוח עוד ועוד, גם עכשיו, בזמנים הלא פשוטים האלה, דווקא זה הזמן שלא נפסיק עם המסר של מצעד החיים, מצעד העמים, ישראל, אנחנו לא לבד.
And we have many special guests here among us, who we want to greet. First of all, thank you, Mrs. Hefzi Zohar, that you're here with us. She's the Vice Deputy Mayor of Be'er Sheva. It is a great honor to have you here with us.
רוצים לברך את הנכבדים שמשתתפים איתנו היום. דוקטור חפצי זוהר, סגנית ראש העיר, מכבדים אותה כאן בנוכחותה.
And I'm also very glad and grateful that we have the founder and the president of March of Life here, Jobst and Charlotte Bittner. Give them a warm hand, please. And of course, also our international director from March of Life, Mr. Heinz Reuss.
אז יש לנו את מייסד ארגון מצעד העמים ואשתו, יובס ביטנר ושרלוט ביטנר, וכמובן מנהל העניינים הבינלאומיים, היינץ רויז. I'm sorry. I'm so nervous.
Me too. And we also expect here to have Rabbi Yosef Garmon. He's the rabbi of the International Humanitarian Coalition. A warm welcome.
ואת הרב יוסף גרבון.
And also we want to greet especially our panel members for later. And
איתי זרביב, עמית פררה, מתן עטיה ומיכל רהב.
we are very grateful to have you here.
תודה רבה שאתם כאן.
So before we start, we have an information that we have a live stream of this event here. So there will be a code where you can share with your friends the event in the morning. We will have interesting panels and talks. We will have songs. We will have a dance. It will be very interesting and very beautiful and emotional, I guess. We are already prepared with tissues in the first line. And I want to also to give you a short overview of the program. So we will have this encounter event, and after the encounter event, you will have time in the foyer to mingle, to get to know each other. Dan and I already saw in the morning that you couldn't stop talking, which is great, and you can continue after the encounter event with that. We will have a short march. And after that, we will meet here again for a wonderful final event. And I would encourage all of you to stay as long as you can.
אז האירוע משודר בלייב, יהיה לנו קוד שאפשר יהיה להעתיק אותו ולשלוח אותו לכל החברים המכרים שלכם כדי שיוכלו לראות גם מהבית מרחוק את האירוע. אחרי הפאנל שלנו תהיה אפשרות להיות במבואה קצת ולעשות שיחות אישיות כמו שהיה בבוקר שלא יכולתם להפסיק לדבר ומאוד שמחנו לראות את זה. לאחר מכן אנחנו נצא למצעד קטן, מפגן פה בחוץ ונחזור חזרה פנימה להמשך לסיום האירוע.
So now I would like to hand over the word to our special guest, Hefzi Zohar. תודה.
Thank you. Dear friends, distinguished guests, I'm honored to welcome you and to emphasize the importance of this wonderful event, the March of the Nations, being held in our loved city for the second year. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the funders, Jost and Charlotte Bittner. Thank you very much. Kapayim. For their vision and the amazing initiative of the March of Life. And to the CEO, Ein Strauss, for his dedicated and professional leadership. Thank you so much. The work of the organization on an international level is immensely significant, especially in these complex times when antisemitism rises all over the world. Your courageous decisions and actions serve as an example to the entire world as the marches take place around the globe, expressing unconditional support and solidarity. Your support, commitment, and solidarity strengthen the national and international resilience of the Jewish people. I would also want to thank the wonderful band, the Be'er Sheva band. Thank you. Which already performed and will perform during the event and delight us with their inspiring and connecting music. We are proud and very pleased with this deep and strong partnership and friendship, and would like to thank you for your presence here today, despite all the challenges. I would like to thank our audience today, the Holocaust survivors from Amcha organization, young people and teenagers from our educational systems here in Be'er Sheva. Thank you so much for being here. Residents, families, also survivors of October 7th from the Negev and communities, brave people and communities representing human bridges committed to the vision of building a joint future and security and prosperity for all of us. We thank you all for participation, for your say and your support. And I would like to take advantage of this very special occasion and to pray for the return of our hostages, for the protection of our heroic soldiers and security forces, and for peace upon us all, for Israel. May peace and security prevail on earth. Thank you so much. Very small gifts to express our huge thanks and gratitude. So, the Bittner family, please come up. Also, Charlotte. On behalf of Mayor Danilovich and the citizens of Be'er Sheva, we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you. Heinz? So, a very small present to express our great gratitude. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
השביעי באוקטובר הוא היום הנוראי ביותר שחוותה מדינת ישראל בעשורים האחרונים, והוא מהווה עבורנו יום בו החיים שלנו והגורל שלנו השתנה דרמטית. סליחה. ב7 לאוקטובר נורו לעבר באר שבע עשרות טילים. בית החולים סורוקה התמודד עם מאות פצועים ונפגעים, ועם ישראל התגייס מעל 200% בשביל להילחם על החיים שלנו והבית שלנו.
Hello? Yes. The 7th of October was the hardest day that Israel has ever had to go through. It represented a very dark day for us. Yeah. We were shot at tens of missiles, and our hospitals had to take care of hundreds of wounded and injured individuals. Our entire nation together united at 200% to contribute and help each other.
And so now we would like to invite our panel members to tell you a little bit about what we experienced on that day and still experiencing. I want to invite Itai Zarbiv to the stage, Amit Ferreira, Matan Atiyah, and Michal Rav. Please come.
אז דבר ראשון, עמית פררה, פרפרה, סליחה. איפה היית ב7 באוקטובר?
So I was at my home, actually, in Kfar Saba. I was supposed to be at the Nova Festival. I had a ticket, just didn't go. I talked to, on the 6:30, we woke up from the missiles, and then I started seeing the news, so I started texting my friend Noah Romani. At that time, I knew there was the festival. I knew it was near Be'eri, but I didn't really understood what was happening. And when we started texting, she told me that she doesn't really understand what's going on. It was around 7:30. She's running. There's shootings, hidings. They were running towards the border. We know that in hindsight, but we didn't really know that time. First by car and then by foot. And at around 10:37, we texted back and forth all this time until we lost contact. And around 10:37, she wrote the last text that she's praying that someone will save her, and she sent me a live location of her on WhatsApp. After that, I started driving towards the border until I saw, well, not towards the border because I'm very far, but towards that direction. And I saw a video of her getting taken. And that's when I saw the live location moving towards Gaza at that time. At first I thought it was just a phone that maybe was stolen, but then I saw the video and I really understood. That's it. We then started, a group of friends started to collaborate on trying to do stuff for her, either publishing it or going on media, social media, helping the family, and then we just rolled around till the day.
So since the event, you and your friends and family have been working to try and raise awareness in some sort?
Yeah. At first, I'd say it was trying to save her, right? Now I understand that you can raise awareness all you want, but that's not always the case that saves her. So yeah, I myself have been on a couple of delegations to Denmark, Netherlands, Australia. And the family has been, at first the family wasn't really cooperable, but then they started blooming themselves because they don't have anything else to do, right? And then, so we, the friends, took on ourselves the job of trying to raise the awareness about her. And at first it was just media. I did a couple interviews with my friends. We started as 10 people, and then we grew up to 400 or 500 people quickly. And we're all the people just trying to help, and we sort of managed to get this organized. The whole operation that was in total chaos. And yeah, that's it.
Is there anything, any idea or sentiment you'd like to express?
I'd say that, well, I can say it for myself at least, but the life goes on, and you have to keep moving, and it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair that you have to keep moving when there's this situation. So just keep in mind that it's not over.
Thank you very much. Matan?
Thank you.
Could you tell us what happened on the 7th of October? How it relates to you?
Okay, so first of all, I want to say thank you, and I really appreciate that you give me the opportunity to talk about my brother and my family in the situation we come through. So my brother is falling in this war, and before I will take a little bit step back, and before I will talk about the experience as a soldier in this war, and about my brother as a soldier, just wanted to talk a little bit about Liav, the brother, the person, and then if I can continue with the experience for the 7th in October. So I come from a big family, 5 children, biggest sister. After that, all of us 4 children, 4 boys, and Liav was the youngest of us. So he was the younger brother of all of us. He always smiled, like in this picture. He always want us to succeed. He liked to cook, to bake, especially pizza. One of the pizza restaurant in Be'er Sheva has accepted his recipe to put in their menu as a memorial for him. And this is one of the best-selling pizza in their menu. At least that's what they said to us. He was very stubborn. We all like that. We come from a family that my mother and father grew us to be very articulate about our opinions. Each one of us have a different opinion, and we argue a lot. But in the end, we always finish the argue with a smile, even if we are not on the same page. So this is a little bit about the landscape that me and Liav grew up in. In the 7th of October, three of us go to this war to bring back the hostages, and of course, I say, and I try to be very respectful, but to stop a second Holocaust, because what was done in the 7th of October was one day in a great magnitude, and we managed to stop it. We are here to talk about it. Unfortunately, not fast enough to save all the citizens that were weren't with us right now. All three of us, I was abroad with my wife on a trip, and two of my brothers just in the morning go straight with their battalion to war, and I just in the morning see all the WhatsApp messages and everything, and said to my wife, "Come, there is war, we need to come back." So we take our stuff, my wife come back as soon as possible. In the same day in the evening, my wife took my firstborn child, and I kissed them and said goodbye. And the three of us go to the lines to hold up against the Hamas terrorists. While I was positioned in Jenin, all the 80 days of wars that I was, my brother Aviel was also in Yehuda v'Shomron, and Liav was the one that positioned in Gaza. Part of the war was also in the north, and in the end, he came back. So it started in Gaza to free all the kibbutz that was with the terrorists there, and after they release all of the Israel facilities, they come to north and then come back to open Khan Yunis. In the end, Liav, the last mission, Liav participated with his companions for battle, was to be the first battalion to open Khan Yunis for the military to enter. So they were the first one to enter. And like you imagine, it was very difficult. So if I summarize the situation, there was the war in the north of Gaza, Israel Army IDF already to control, and then we have the first, and unfortunately, not there wasn't second, but hopefully there will be a second one, the first deal to bring back the hostages. So Israel stopped the war for, I think, 4 weeks. In the meanwhile, they're starting to prepare to enter to Khan Yunis, and then they bring Liav forces. Liav enter and after a week, he has fallen. All of this week, they have engaged in battle. They manage to, they manage and succeed in retrieving all the land, all time there was an engagement to win over. And eventually, the one time that he didn't survive was the one time they surprised them from the back. And he and his friend, Omri Ben Shachar, was the first one to get the firepower and the RPG missiles that brought down on the force that was there by Hamas terrorists. And 5 minutes after, all of the terrorists was dead by the battalion. In the funeral, at least 4 or 5 people said, come to us and said to us that he and Omri Ben Shachar defend them with their own body. So if they said to me, if he wasn't there, I wasn't here alive to talk with you. After that, we get the word about what's happened to Liav. Because we are 3 brothers that was in the war, we didn't have the opportunity to meet each other all this time. In all of my 80 days of fighting, I see my home 3 times. And in these 3 times, only in one occasion, all of our family, my brother, all of the brothers was meeting together in the same day, by chance. So we managed to see him one last time. And I just wanted to say that we don't know when our loved one going not be here. And I don't mean it that we need to live like this is the last day of our life or the last day of their life. We can't live like that. But I think we need to be a little more appreciated, a little more talk with each other. And this is how I experienced the October 7th. I have to say that although my loss, I'm very proud that all 3 of us go there to stop this evil and to try bring back the hostages. Still didn't finish the job, but I know that the ones that are there right now are going to finish the job. And one last point that it's very important to me and to my mother about this subject. It's that essentially we go there not only to protect our families, this is the first thing, our country. We needed to stop this evil, this rhetoric that try to demolish, no matter who you are. There was Muslim that murdered in the 7th in October. There was Thai people that kidnapped. Everyone is in danger with those people behind that line. And I wanted you to take for yourself that you need also in your individual places to identify this evil and to act upon it. So this occasion wouldn't occur not only in Israel, but in any other place of the world. And hopefully, all of the hostages will return and we don't have any casualties of innocent in both sides. And the last point that I want you, it's really important for me to take with you. They leave us this land or this world for us to continue and connect to what you said, to continue to succeed, to evolve. We needed from them to remember them. If we want to remember them, we need to do it. We need to do better. We need to succeed in our lives. We need to innovate. We need to continue. Don't stay in the past. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Itai?
Hi everyone. I'm going to be supporting Itai if he needs translation to English.
טוב, אז אני אספר את הסיפור שלי בעברית, קצת סובך לי לספר אותו באנגלית.
My name is Itai. I'm going to tell my story in Hebrew. It's a little complex for me to share it in English.
ב-7 באוקטובר הייתי בגולני, בגדוד 51.
On October 7th, I'm part of the Golani Brigade in Gdud number 51.
תפסתי קו במוצב מוב דרום, זה באזור היישובים של נירים, ניר עוז, מבטחים, עין הבשור.
I was situated in the south side, in the western Negev, in the area of Kibbutz Nirim.
עוד לפני שהתחיל כל החדירות והאזעקות, הייתי על הגדר לזמן משהו בשגרה שתופסים קו בעזה, לבדוק שהכל תקין בגדר.
Even before the sirens and before the infiltration of terrorists into Israel, that is what we did. That was our permanent border as part of my army service. I was situated there.
שהיינו על הגדר, התחלתי לקבל התראות בטלפון על אזעקות, ואפילו בבאר שבע זה הגיע כבר.
When I was there on the fence, I started getting on my app on my phone alerts for the sirens that were happening, and we saw that also Be'er Sheva was getting rockets as well.
באנו להתחיל לנסוע מהאזור של הגדר, ואז קיבלנו דיווחים מהתצפיתנית שיש מחבלים שפורצים את הגדר עם טנדרים ואופנועים.
We were about to move away from the fence, and we got alerts and updates from the soldiers that were there that we have terrorists that are coming towards Israel in trucks and on motorcycles.
כשהתחלנו את הנסיעה, באנו לצאת מהאזור של הגדר, ואז כבר היה פיצוץ ראשון בגדר, וראינו אופנועים נכנסים עם RPG ונכנסים לתוך שטח ישראל.
When we started moving away from the fence, we already saw the first explosion right on the fence, and we saw the terrorists coming in on the motorcycles.
התחלנו נסיעה לכיוון היישובים.
We started driving towards the communities in the western Negev.
כאילו כל מה שהיה חשוב לנו באותם רגעים זה באמת היישובים, זה לא משהו שסתם אומרים, זה באמת, זה מה שחשבנו עליו, אז התמקמנו ליד קיבוץ נירים.
You know, everything that was important for us, and we're not just saying it to say, we really thought about the people, about the families that were living in the communities in the Western Negev. That was our top goal, and that's the only thing we had in mind, to go there and to help them and to rescue them.
שהיינו בשער האחורי של קיבוץ נירים, פרקו מולנו 5 אופנועים עם מחבלים, והתחלנו מולם קרב יריות.
When we were right in the entrance to Kibbutz Nirim, we had terrorists right there next to us, shooting towards us and firing at us.
לאחר כמה דקות של קרב, הם ברחו למטע בננות, ואנחנו המשכנו לאזור אחר שקיבלנו ממנו דיווחים שיש שם מחבלים.
After a few minutes of us being in a fire battle, of shooting battle, we moved away to another spot that we got report to go to.
חשוב לי להגיד גם שהיינו רכב אחד של 4 אנשים, מול פריצה של, על כל אחד שלנו לפחות איזה 20 מחבלים.
Just to put it in numbers, I was in a vehicle, in an army vehicle of 4 of us inside, and just to understand the ratio, we had dozens of them compared to 1 people from our side.
כשנסענו לאזור שקיבלנו ממנו דיווחים על מחבלים, רצינו להפתיע אותם מאחורה, עשינו להם את האיגוף, את הסיבוב הזה.
סליחה איתי, שוב?
שנסענו למקום שקיבלנו ממנו דיווחים על המחבלים, עשינו איגוף להפתיע אותם.
So when we were updated that terrorists were coming, we did this U-turn to come from the other side and tried to surprise them.
חיכו לנו שם 6 מחבלים, ואחד מהם עם RPG.
We had 6 of them, terrorists of Hamas, waiting for us over there, that one of them was holding an RPG.
אז נסענו פשוט הכי מהר שיש, ואז פגע RPG ברכב מאחורה.
So, you know, we drove as fast as we could, that in the back there's many of RPGs towards us.
הרכב עלה באש, ניסיתי לצאת, וכשאני מנסה לצאת אני מקבל יריות לדלת.
So our vehicle went on fire, and while it was burning, I tried to get out of the car. While I was getting out, I had terrorists shooting at me.
הצלחתי לבסוף לצאת בלי הנשק.
At the end, I successfully was able to come out, but without my rifle, without my weapon.
הרכב עלה באש, הייתי לידו ולא יכולתי לנשום לידו, אז פשוט רצתי, ותוך כדי שרצתי ירו עליי 10 כדורים ופגע בי כדור אחד בחזה.
The vehicle was completely on fire. I couldn't even stand next to it because of the smell that came out of it. I went away, but terrorists continued to shoot at me, and I got hurt. I got a bullet to my chest.
עכשיו לא היה לי יותר מדי מה לעשות, כל הרכב עלה באש, היינו שם לבד.
I didn't really have anything I could do, right? The car was on fire, and we were there by ourselves, and I was already wounded.
אז פשוט כשקיבלתי את הכדור, נפלתי ושיחקתי את עצמי מת.
So after receiving the bullet, I just played dead on the floor.
עכשיו, ככל שעובר הזמן, הייתי בטוח שעוד כמה דקות כאילו אנחנו כבר נשתלט על האירוע. עוד פעם, אני לא יודע שזה הסדר גודל של השביעי. מבחינתי יש 2 פריצות בגדר.
You know, as time went by, we waited and waited for somebody to come and rescue and come and give support and come and give help. But at that time, we did not understand the bigger picture of what was going on around the south of Israel. We thought it was only what we saw, the explosion at the fence and a few terrorists that came in.
אז ככה עבר הזמן ששכבתי שם כמו כאילו פני מת. הייתי גם קצת כמה זמן מחוסר הכרה.
So that was for a while. It was approximately 3 to 4 hours that I was playing dead, and to a certain point I also lost conscious.
אחרי 3-4 שעות שהפסקתי לשמוע את הצעקות בערבית ואת היריות של הקלאץ' קרובים, הרמתי את הראש וראיתי גופה של המפקד שלי ואת הרכב שרוף לגמרי.
So after approximately 4 hours, that I stopped hearing people screaming in Arabic. I picked up my head to look around, and I saw my commander's body next to me.
אחרי שהראיתי את הראש, חבשתי את עצמי. שראיתי את התחבושת בווסט, חבשתי את עצמי, ועוד פעם, כאילו סייגתי את עצמי, עדיין הורדתי את הראש להיות כמו גופה.
I was able to take some medical equipment from my army vest, and I was able to kind of treat myself, and then I continued to lie down where I was.
אחרי 20 דקות, חצי שעה, הבנתי שאף אחד לא מגיע לפה. פשוט קמתי הכרתי את הכבישים די טוב בעוטף, התחלתי לרוץ משיח לשיח כזה.
So it took me another 20 to 30 minutes to realize nobody was coming. So I got up, and I kind of know the area of the Western Negev, so I started running on the streets, on the road, moving from a bush to hide.
הגעתי לכביש, התחבאתי באיזה שיח קוצני, ופשוט צפיתי על הכביש כדי לראות מתי מגיע הרכב של צה"ל, כדי לדעת להגיד לו שאנחנו צריכים חילוץ.
So I was running on one of the roads, and I was hiding next to it in a bush, just waiting for an army vehicle to come so I can stop him and say that we need help and rescue.
הייתי בשיח עוד איזה אזור שעה וחצי, שעתיים. שוב פעם, אין לי קשר לעולם גם. אין לי פלאפון, אין לי מכשיר קשר, אין לי גם נשק. אני פשוט שוכב שם כאילו בתוך איזה שיח קוצני, וכאילו מחכה לחילוץ.
I stayed there for approximately an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just to understand, I had no communication with the world, right? I had no phone, I had no any element of communication of the army, not knowing anything, completely disconnected, but just waiting there for something to happen.
אחרי שעה וחצי גם הבנתי שאף אחד לא מגיע לפה.
It took me another hour and a half, but I realized that also to this spot, nobody was going to come and give help.
אז פשוט המשכתי להתקדם בכביש, ישר, עוד פעם, משיח לשיח כזה, מנסה להתחבא, שלא יבואו מחבלים.
So I continued moving forward on the road, moving from a bush to a bush every time, trying to hide, making sure nobody's going to spot me from the terrorists.
שעברתי ליד קיבוץ ניר עוז, ואז התחלתי גם להבין את התמונה הכוללת, כי ראיתי אותו שרוף לגמרי.
When I went by, I saw on my left side kibbutz Nir Oz, and I thought it was completely burnt down. And then I started understanding a little bit of what is going on.
אחרי גם, תוך כדי שאני הולך, אני עברתי ומצד שמאל שלי היה רכב ישראלי וגופה לידו. זאת פעם, אתה מתחיל קצת לחבר את זה, אבל עדיין בדעה, מה שאני יודע זה עוד תמים לעומת מה שהיה בשביעי באותו זמן.
While I was walking there, I saw another civilian vehicle with another dead body next to it. So you're trying to connect the dots, but in my naive, perspective, not even grasping of what is going on that day.
המשכתי להתקדם, נכנסתי לעוד איזה שיח, כי כבר היה לי קשה לנשום, בכל זאת כדור בחזה.
I continued to move forward and I was moving towards another bush, but it was hard for me to breathe at that point. I was hurt in the chest from a bullet.
כשהתחבאתי בשיח, ראיתי עכשיו, אחרי זה 20 דקות שהייתי בתוך השיח, ראיתי שתי רכבים צה"ליים עוברים, ואז כבר הלכתי על הכביש עם ידיים מורמות, שכאילו לא יחשבו שאני מחבל.
It took another while, but then I spotted two army vehicles that were coming towards me, so I just came out of the bush and I picked up my hands, going like this just to make sure they don't think I'm a terrorist and they will shoot me.
אחרי כמה דקות שאני הולך על הכביש, מגיע מאחוריי נמר.
After a few minutes of me walking on the road, there was an army vehicle that came.
ויוצא מהנמר מפקד מהפלוגה שלי, שאני מכיר אותו, הוא שואל אותי אם נפצעתי, אמרתי לו שכן, ושכל הרכב שלי מאחורה שרוף, ואני לא יודע מה איתם, וצריך לחלץ אותם.
A commander from my platoon, from my brigade comes out and asks me if I was hurt. I say yes, and I share the story of what happened to the car and that was completely burnt down and that we need rescue over there.
הוא אמר לי שעכשיו המצב במוצב לא טוב, שנהרגו לנו עוד אנשים מהפלוגה, וחייב לעוף למוצב. פשוט נסענו.
He shared with me that the situation at our headquarters are not good and we need to move on and go back there, and we had a lot of casualties as well from our people.
ותוך כדי הנסיעה בנמר, ברכב הצבאי, הרכב הפסיק לעבוד, פרקנו ושם כבר באה היחידה לפינוי פצועים ופינו אותי לסורוקה.
While we were driving, our car that we were on stopped working. It completely died, so we had to come out of the car, started walking, and then we had a rescue team that came to take us, and from that point I was delivered directly to Soroka Medical Center in Be'er Sheva to receive treatment.
כל מי שהיה איתי ברכב, עומר וולף, זיכרונו לברכה, היה סמך מ"פ, שלו דגן, זיכרונו לברכה, היה הקשר שלו, ומרו אלם היה לוחם מאחד המחלקות איתנו, זיכרונו לברכה. כולם נהרגו, אני היחיד שנשארתי בחיים.
All the 3 soldiers that were with me in the vehicle were all killed on that day. I was the only one that survived this attack. Itai, if you can repeat the names, please.
עומר וולף, זיכרונו לברכה, שלו דגן, זיכרונו לברכה, ומרו אלם, זיכרונו לברכה. עכשיו, לא מצאו את הגופות שלהם אחרי כמה ימים, כבר חשבו שהם חטופים, כי חטפו מהאזור שלנו עוד חיילים.
They couldn't find their bodies after a few days of the attack, and they assumed that they were taken by terrorists and they were hostages.
וזהו, אחרי כמה ימים הגיעה אליי ההודעה שהם נהרגו.
It took another few days, but then we got the announcement that they were killed.
זהו, זה מה שבערך אני עברתי בשביעי.
And that is what I've been through on October 7th.
Thank you very much. Michal, do you mind telling us how it was for you on the 7th of October?
My name is Michal Rav. I live in Kibbutz Nirim. I'm a mother to Yuval, 16 in 2 days, Noam, she's 13, and Itamar, he's 10, married to Lee. Just a bit of the life before October 7th, living in the kibbutz in the Western Negev. First of all, it is the most beautiful place in Israel, and it's not arguable. We had a very good community life. My children grew up in a very special and unique way with a lot of values, especially for the land that we live in. And living in the Western Negev, you kind of develop a sixth sense throughout time when you know when things are starting to get bad and the situation is escalating, and how you address it. Whether you close the iron part of the safety room window, or you even tell your children to go and sleep in the safe room at night. But on October 6th, and just before that, we couldn't feel anything. Actually, everything was quite peaceful and okay, and we had a really big celebration. It was the kibbutz birthday on Friday night, and there were a lot of guests in the kibbutz, and we were having a big celebration on the grass, and a big area for the children to like bouncy castles and food trucks, and there was a band, and we had a really good time. We actually were supposed to go to the pool on Saturday. It was the last day of the season. We wanted to have like a farewell celebration from the pool. So October 7th, 6:30 in the morning, the alarm's starting to go off, and we have also the applications on our phone, and everything's going crazy. And living in the Western Negev, you also know who's shooting, if it's jihad or Hamas. So of course we knew immediately it was Hamas. And it took us just a minute or two to understand that this is very, very different from everything we've experienced up until now. It's very, very violent and very, very intense. And living so close to the border, we hear the missiles being launched towards all the parts of the country, to Be'er Sheva, to Tel Aviv. And it doesn't stop. I mean, alarms are going off, and the missiles are going off, and explosions everywhere. So at this point, I'm telling my children, okay, listen, just let's get dressed, put on some clothes, shoes. The minute we have a chance, we're going to run to the car and get out of here. Don't have time to pack. We'll figure out everything later. Now, my husband, he's a police officer in operational unit, and he also does reserve duty in the Gaza division. So he has this situation for about a month. Something is bothering him. I don't know. He feels he wants to be safe. He wants to be on the safe side. So for a month now, he comes home with his M16, his rifle, which isn't part of his duty on day-to-day basis. And then just a few days before October 7th, he goes back to his unit and he leaves the weapon over there. But then something again bothers him. So on Friday, he goes back to his unit, he gets the rifle. He also brings another bulletproof vest home. And I'm like, it's a big bag. And I'm like, what do we need another bullet vest here? And I said, no, I don't know. I just want to be prepared. I don't know. Something's bothering me. Sure enough, 6:30 in the morning. And we're in the safe room. He's already on his uniform, and he's waiting to be called to his unit. And he's trying to call everybody. Nobody's answering. He doesn't know what's going on. We're trying to understand what's going on. Nobody knows. It's already 7 o'clock in the morning. And at this point, I opened the group WhatsApp of the kibbutz. And I start to see messages about shooting and shouts in Arabic. And then my brother sends me a message. He says, listen, they say that you have terrorists in your kibbutz. And so, okay, how many can there be? 10, 20? I mean, the border is so... And IDF is going to come soon, and it will be okay. My husband, he comes into the safe room, and he gives me his gun. And he gives me like a crash course in how to shoot. And at this point, he takes the bulletproof vests and he puts them on my children. And he goes back outside. And he said, whatever you do, it'll come out. And at this point, again, everything seems surreal. I mean, okay, it's expected, that terrorists would do things like that. But again, we didn't understand how big this thing is. We didn't know about the party, anything. And at one point, time goes by. I mean, it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. I say, okay, might as well be productive. Maybe start packing some clothes for the children. And I go in and out of the safe room. And at one point, I'm going to my bedroom. And the window is opened, which is a miracle because we never sleep with the window open because it's very, very hot. We have the AC on. But at that night, for some reason, we decided we didn't need the air conditioning. And then we start hearing gun blasts. Really, really close. At the end of the path of my house, there's a parking lot. And at the end of that parking lot, there's a shelter. And usually when we have escalations, IDF immediately brings soldiers into the kibbutz, and that's where they stay. So we're looking out of the window, and we see soldiers, and it makes sense to us because it's full-blown war. But why would IDF be shooting inside the kibbutz? And then we take another look, and it's not soldiers, and it's Hamas terrorists, and we see the yellow bands, and they're coming our way. They're like 4 or 5 of them. And then I hear from the back part of my house shouting in Arabic. So 5 are coming through the path, and also I don't know how many came from behind the house. It's like something clicks in my mind, and I run back to the safe room. And I tell my daughters, get behind me. Whatever comes through that door, we're fighting. Don't be afraid, I'm here with you. And I give my oldest daughter a pepper spray canister, and I give my other daughter a club. They're looking at me, and I said, we have to fight. Whatever comes through that door, we are fighting. And this is seconds. And then we hear shooting inside the house, and we understand my husband is engaged in battle. And I'm standing in front of the safe room's door and pointing the gun through the door, just waiting for the angel of death to come in. And my husband comes in, and he closes the door, and he said, I just shot a terrorist. He tried to get into the house. And as he finishes that sentence, they start spraying the house with a Kalashnikov from everywhere, from behind, from the front, from the side. And they're shooting like crazy. And they take out the electricity, so now we're in dark as well. Can't see. And then there's a few seconds of silence. They stop shooting. We hear some kind of racket. Later on, we understood that they dragged the terrorist's body. And then they started attacking us with grenades inside. And everything is exploding. And then our ears are ringing. And the whole safe room is filled with smoke, and gunpowder and smoke. And, my husband and I, we were thrown back. We don't have time to recuperate. We don't have time to assess what's going on. He just grabs me. He picks me up. And we look at each other and we say, okay, we're fighting till the last bullet that we have. And we tell our children, no matter what, we either die together or we walk out on our terms together. We're not going to be hostages. And that's the message that we tell them. And then we're just standing like that. My husband is pointing his weapon to the door. I'm standing behind him. The children at this point are on the floor, lying down. And then they continue to move on. And they leave us. And we're like that for about 9 hours until IDF comes and calls us out, and we go out. I open the door, and I see my house destroyed. Again, I don't have time to even assess what's going on, but everything is completely destroyed. And as I'm walking out of the safe room, it's in the back part of my house. We're going through the living room, and I had a glass cabinet in the living room where I kept my grandmother's Chanukiah and my son's Kiddush cup that he got from her. And they're like on the floor, everything shattered and broken around them. I'm not a religious person. But looking at that snapshot, and after the hours that we've been through, and again, we still don't understand how big this is. In all this time, even though what's going on in our house, they're still shooting. I mean, the alarms are still going off. And I look at this and I say, okay, this is our history. Everything we've heard, everything we've been taught about the Holocaust, we've just been through that. It's very hard to comprehend at that moment. We don't have time. Soldiers said, we have to go now. There's still terrorists here. We have to get you to safety. So they escort us to the clubhouse in the center of the kibbutz. And at that point, my husband leaves us, and he goes and he joins the army, and he goes from house to house, and they rescue people. And we're all gathered there up until October 8th, about 500 people. We understand we have hostages. We understand we have casualties. We don't know what's going on, like in Nir Oz, which is 500 meters from us. We didn't know about the party. We just saw chains of smoke everywhere. And again, alarms don't stop. They continue shooting all the time. And on October 8th, we get clearance from the army to be evacuated out of the area. And they're giving us 10 minutes, everybody, to go home to collect belongings. I'm looking at my husband, I said, I didn't examine thoroughly what was going in the house, but I understand there's nothing left. But I still want to go back. And I'm standing in front of my home, and I'm scared to go in. And I tell, okay, go inside, see it's clear that nobody's hiding in there. And he gives me the clear, and I go inside. And then I take 2 pictures that my deceased father-in-law, portraits that he drew of my husband and my eldest daughter. And these are the things that we leave with. That's it. That's our belongings. And then we join the kibbutz again, and we're all in a very long convoy. We're leaving the area. We're being evacuated to Eilat. This much we know. But what was waiting for us just behind the gate of the kibbutz, I never thought I would see in my life. No matter how many Hollywood movies you see or heard stories, it's unimaginable. And I'm driving. My husband is sitting next to me with his rifle because we know we have to go by Ofakim, and the hostage situation in Ofakim is not over yet, and there are still terrorists all around. So we're driving very, very slowly. And it's horrific. Cars burned or shot, and bodies just laying on the ground or out of the cars. My children are experiencing this. And we finally get to Be'er Sheva, just at the outskirts of Be'er Sheva, and I pull over. And then I just break down. I don't understand what we've just been through. And then we become refugees. We live in a hotel for 4.5 months in Eilat in 2 bedrooms. And throughout this time, there were hostages, they were dead, and they were missing. My children have friends that are considered missing. And then as days go by, okay, this one is identified, and this one was identified, and this one is identified. And my children may be children on paper with their ages, but they're not children anymore. They lost their classmates, they lost teachers. They had to go to funerals. It's just, and this is what we've been dealing with ever since. We are still in October 7th. We haven't left that safe room. We're still there.
Thank you very much. We're now finishing the panel, but I want to say thank you so much to all four of you. Your stories, as heartbreaking as they are, they give us strength and show how strong people you are. So thank you very much.
I can only underline what Avishai just said. I'm very grateful for every one of you talking so openly and courageously about how you experienced this terrible day. I think I can speak in the name of the international participants. For some of us, it was the first time to hear these stories, and it's so important that they get heard. And we want now to have two singers from Be'er Sheva welcoming to the front. They will perform a song that was also sang at the Eurovision contest, Hurricane. I think it's a good answer to all of the stories, to summarize them, and please come to the front.
So I will take this opportunity to present ourselves and to tell that it's so hard to sing after that. We've been here, we experienced it, but to hear it from so many different perspectives that experienced it so close just shows what we really been through. And I will tell personally that I came back from a reserve duty in the spokesperson unit not so long time ago. And when I came back very pessimistic, and I couldn't see the light and how it turns out any better. And I think only after Holocaust Day and Memorial Day, it came to me that I don't have the privilege, really, to go into this pessimistic attitude. And the amazing Eden Golan and Keren Peles and all of the Eurovision delegation put this feeling in very beautiful words. And this is the song that we're going to sing together, Hurricane. My name is Ori, this is Erez, he's my father. Writer of my symphony, play with me, look into my eyes and see it. People walk away but never say goodbye. Someone stole the moon tonight, took my light. Everything is black and white. Who's the fool who told you, boys don't cry? Hours and hours and powers. Life is no game, but it's ours. While the time goes wild, every day I'm losing my mind, holding on in this mysterious ride, dancing in the storm. I got nothing to hide. Take it all and leave the world behind. Baby, promise me you'll hold me again. I'm still broken from this hurricane, this hurricane. Living in a fantasy, ecstasy, everything is meant to be. We shall pass, but love will never die. Hours and hours and powers. Life is no game, but it's ours. While the time goes wild, every day I'm losing my mind, holding on in this mysterious ride, dancing in the storm. I got nothing to hide. Take it all and leave the world behind. Baby, promise me you'll hold me again. I'm still broken from this hurricane, this hurricane. לא צריך מילים גדולות, רק תפילות, אפילו אם קשה לראות, תמיד אתה משאיר לי אור אחד קטן. The next song is a song by Leonard Cohen that we both really love and we knew for our entire life, but only recently I discovered that this song was originally written about the Holocaust and was written about the orchestras that were forced to play in Auschwitz. And this was, I was shocked when I discovered it, about this beautiful optimistic love song, a classic, but I feel it's the exact song because I feel like this is what we're saying here, that the power of love, hopefully, we pray, that is much greater than the power of hate. So, Dance Me to the End of Love by Leonard Cohen. Dance me to your beauty with a burning violin. Dance me through the panic till I'm gathered safely. Lift me like an olive branch and be my homeward dove. Dance me to the end of love. Dance me to the end of love. Oh, let me see your beauty when the witnesses are gone. Let me feel you moving like they do in Babylon. Show me slowly what I only know the limits of. Dance me to the end of love. Dance me to the end of love. La 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 la. the end of love. Dance me to the end of love. La 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 Dance me to your beauty with a burning violin. Dance me through the panic till I'm gathered safely. Lift me like an olive branch and be my homeward dove. Dance me to the end of love. Dance me to the end of love. Thank you so much, and thank you for this incredible opportunity and this amazing event. Thank you.
אורי ביטון.
ארז ביטון.
Thank you for the musical contribution. And I would like now Job Spittner, the president and founder of March of Life, to come to the front and give us a word.
Ja, vielen Dank für Eden Golan und Leonard Cohen.
Thank you so much for Eden Golan and Leonard Cohen.
Und das hat mir geholfen, wieder emotional stabil zu werden.
Because that helped me to kind of get emotionally stable again.
Ich bin tief bewegt von dem, was wir gehört haben.
I'm deeply moved by what we heard just now.
Und vielen Dank, dass wir Anteil haben können an dem Schmerz und an dem, was ihr erlebt und erfahrt.
And thank you so much that we can share and hear about your pain and hear what you've been through.
Und was wir spüren und hören, der 7. Oktober ist noch nicht vorbei.
And what we can sense and what we've heard, the 7th of October is not over yet.
Und vielleicht ist das auch der Grund, warum wir hier sind, um bei euch zu sein.
And maybe that is one of the reasons why we're here, just to be with you.
Vielen Dank, dass wir von euch empfangen worden sind.
And thank you so much for receiving us.
Vielen Dank an Bürgermeisterin Dr. Chefsi Zufra.
And thank you so much to the Deputy Chief Mayor.
So, wir haben in der Vorbereitung euch getroffen. Wir haben so viel Liebe und Freundlichkeit empfangen.
And in preparation, we met with you. We've received so much love, so much kindness.
Und das ist, dass nach dem 7. Oktober die Welt sich wieder gegen Israel wendet. Es ist unfassbar, man kann das kaum begreifen.
And the fact that after the 7th of October, the world is turning against Israel once again is something that is almost unbelievable. It's so hard to grasp.
Ihr hört, ich spreche mit der deutschen Sprache.
And as you can hear, I'm speaking in German.
Und die deutsche Sprache hat etwas mit der Marsch des Lebensbewegung zu tun.
And the German language is also something that's connected to the March of Life movement.
So die Sprache, in der die Befehle des Todes gegeben worden sind zur Zeit des Nationalsozialismus, das war die deutsche Sprache.
Because the language that gave the orders of death and the commands that destroyed was the German language.
Unterschiedliche Sprachen, 7. Oktober oder auch der Nationalsozialismus.
So maybe different languages at the 7th of October and during the Nazi era,
Aber das gleiche Ziel.
but they had the same goal:
Vernichtung
destruction
und Tod jüdischen Lebens.
and death of Jewish life.
Das waren unsere Vorfahren.
And these were our ancestors.
Mein Vater,
My father,
unsere Großväter, Urgroßväter,
our grandfathers or great-grandfathers,
die das Ziel hatten, jüdisches Leben zu deportieren, entwürdigen oder auch zu vernichten.
and it was their goal to deport, to humiliate or to kill Jewish life.
Und hier stehen wir jetzt mit einer neuen Generation.
But now we are here together with a new generation.
Eine Generation, die spricht die deutsche Sprache.
A generation who do speak the German language.
Die Kinder, die Enkel, die Urenkel von den Nazitätern.
Children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the Nazi perpetrators.
Aber die an der Seite Israels stehen wollen und Israel ihre Liebe ausdrücken wollen.
But they want to stand side by side with Israel, and they want to express their love for Israel.
Und das sind nicht nur Worte jetzt,
And that's not just words now,
weil dahinter steht Aktion und dahinter stehen Taten.
because there is action behind it. There is deeds that follow.
Die Marsch des Lebensbewegung wurde in einer ehemaligen Nazistadt gegründet,
The March of Life movement was founded in a former Nazi city,
die verantwortlich war für den Tod von 700.000 Juden,
who was responsible for the deaths of 700,000 Jews,
die alle den Holocaust erlebt haben.
who all went through the Holocaust.
Aber ihr wisst, dass der Holocaust eben nicht nur durch die aktiven Täter geschehen ist, sondern eben genauso auch durch die Gleichgültigkeit und das Schweigen der Menschen, die zugeschaut haben.
But you all know that the Holocaust was not only perpetrated by those who were actively involved in the killings, but also by those who were passive, indifferent, keeping silent and looking away.
Weil der größte Teil Deutschlands zur Nazizeit, zur Zeit des Holocaust, sie haben gleichgültig zugeschaut.
Because the majority in Germany during the Nazi era, they were simply indifferent. They just stood by and watched.
Sie haben das Elend und den Tod und das Leid gesehen,
They saw the suffering, the death, they saw the pain,
aber sie haben nichts damit gemacht.
but they didn't do anything about it.
Und so ist es ja heute auch, oder?
And the same thing is happening again.
Überall in der Welt stehen die Menschen gegen Israel auf.
So everywhere in the world, there's people rising against Israel now,
An den Universitäten,
at the
auf den
universities,
Straßen.
on the streets.
Sie rufen zur Vernichtung Israels,
They demand the destruction of Israel,
ohne zu empfinden, zu spüren, zu hören, was eigentlich passiert ist.
without actually sensing, without taking note of truly what happened.
Und manchmal könnte man meinen, dass das die ganze Welt ist.
And sometimes you could think, oh, that's the whole world.
Aber wir sind hier, um euch zu sagen, dass es nicht so ist,
But we're here to tell you that's not the case.
sondern dass ihr sehr viele Freunde habt.
But you have many friends.
Ihr kennt sie vielleicht nicht,
Maybe you don't know them,
aber es sind Millionen und Millionen von Menschen.
but there are millions and millions of them.
Das sind nicht unbedingt die Stimmen der Politiker,
They might not necessarily be the voices of the politicians.
das sind nicht die Stimmen, die auf den Straßen Free Palestine schreien,
They are not the voices who take to the streets to shout Free Palestine.
aber es sind die Stimmen, die da sind und die aufstehen und sagen, wir wollen mit Israel zusammenstehen.
But these are the voices that are there and that keep rising to say, we will stand together with
Wir
Israel.
sind als Marsch des Lebensbewegung ein kleiner Teil davon.
And so as the March of Life movement, we are just a small portion among them.
In diesem Jahr haben wir in 100 Städten Zehntausende Menschen auf die Straße gebracht, die für Israel stehen.
So this year, we went to 100 different cities as March of Life, and we mobilized tens of thousands to stand with us on the streets and stand with Israel.
Und diesen Hunderten von Märschen, das sind Millionen und Millionen von Menschen, die das über Medien gesehen haben.
And with these 100 marches, there are millions and millions of people who joined online, who were watching through the media.
Und deswegen sind wir hier,
And that's why we're here.
um zu sagen, ihr seid nicht alleine.
To tell you, you are not alone.
Und wir wollen diese Geschichten, die wir hier gehört haben, weitererzählen.
And these stories that we heard here, we want to share them. We want to let the world
Wir
know.
wollen euch sagen, ihr seid besondere Menschen.
And we want to tell you, you are special people.
Und allein wie ihr diese Geschichten erzählt habt, dahinter steht eine so große Stärke.
And actually, just hearing the stories that were shared, they represent for such tremendous strength.
Und ich persönlich glaube, dass Gott eine Stärke hineingelegt hat in eure Nation.
And I personally believe that God Himself has placed tremendous strength into your nation.
Die Gründung Israels ist für mich das größte Wunder der Geschichte.
The founding of the modern state of Israel, to me, is the greatest miracle in history.
Weil aus der Asche des Holocaust ist neues Leben entstanden.
Because out of the ashes of the Holocaust, new life came forth.
Der Staat Israel entstand daraus.
And the state of Israel was born,
Auf den Schultern der Holocaust-Überlebenden.
built on the shoulders of the Holocaust survivors.
Und so glaube ich, dass aus dieser Krise, aus der Asche des 7. Oktober etwas Neues entstehen wird.
And so I also believe that out of the crisis, out of the ashes of the 7th of October, something new will rise.
Und deswegen sind wir hier, um zu sagen, Am Israel Chai.
And that's why we're here to say, Am Israel Chai.
Wir wollen gemeinsam mit euch eine gemeinsame Zukunft gehen.
And together with you, we want to stand for a new future.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you so much.
Und wir möchten das überreichen, Bürgermeister.
And we would like to present this to the mayor.
Und hier sind einige der Märsche drauf, weltweit.
And so this picture shows some of the global marches we've had.
Und das wollen wir einfach überreichen.
And we would like to present this
Und
to
wir sind
you.
so dankbar, mit Be'er Sheva verbunden zu
And we
sein.
are so grateful for being connected with Be'er Sheva.
עם ישראל חי וקיים לנצח נצחים.
Dear friends, Hamas' brutal terrorist attack on Israel on the 7th of October brings the memory of the Holocaust back to life. Anti-Semitism and hatred of Israel exists in every country and in every city worldwide. That is why we stand here with 10,000 participants from the Marches of Life in more than 100 cities and in 20 nations worldwide, and proclaim, in the face of anti-Semitism and hatred of Jews in our nations, that we raise our voices against all forms of anti-Semitism and hatred of Jews in our country. We declare together that regardless of Israeli policy at this time, we stand with Israel in solidarity and friendship more than ever before.
I think the video shows in images what Jobst just said. You're not alone. And I'm very grateful that so many people got mobilized worldwide to show this message.
I didn't realize I was supposed to translate this.
I think you understood. If not, you saw the video. We want to give an answer also to the first panel, and we're here internationally, but also we have many German participants, and they, as Jobst said, they also have a story in their family.
מהצד הגרמני הם גם רוצים לענות על הפאנל כמו שאנחנו עשינו, ולספר על כל מיני סיפורים שהיה להם גם מהצד שלהם.
And I would like to ask the panel members to come to the front, and Heinz will lead us through the panel. Thank you.
אני רוצה להזמין את כל חברי הפאנלים השני.
Okay, so we are going on the streets to lift our voices for Israel and against anti-Semitism. But at the heart of the March of Life is that we confront anti-Semitism in our own families. And we just want to briefly, this will be not very long, but we want to briefly give you an insight into our own families, the history of our families, how they were involved in the Shoah, because we understand that our families, our forefathers did the same thing that Hamas did on October 7th. But we are here to show you that there is a possibility, there's hope, and we are standing now, and we are standing with Israel now. So I want to start right here. Next to me, that's Marcus. Marcus, maybe you can briefly share about your family history and their involvement in the Shoah.
First of all, I want to say it's a huge privilege for me and for us to be here. We couldn't imagine such an intense meeting that we had so far, and it still goes on. So my family's history is a dark history. First of all I knew was that 3 of my great-grandfathers were actively involved in war in Poland, in the Soviet Union, and the 4th great-grandfather, I only knew that he was not in war because of a leg injury. He couldn't walk properly. And when I came in contact with the March of Life movement, I wanted to know the truth about this 4th great-grandfather, and I asked my grandfather about his father, and he said, my grandson, I didn't talk about that for decades, and here's the truth. I grew up, so my grandfather and his family, they grew up in a home in Hamburg. It's a huge city in the northern part of Germany, and he grew up door to door to a concentration camp. And from his living room, he was able, in the first floor, to look above the wall of the camp and see the prisoners in their striped clothings. And when I heard this, I immediately had to, I knew I had to go to Hamburg and see that with my own eyes, where my family lived. And I went there, and I saw that. And one more thing that really touched my heart is I heard that they had Jewish neighbors, and the family was called Cohen, like the Kohen. And what happened is my grandfather, he used to play with them, and then there was a moment when they just vanished, and they weren't there anymore because they were taken maybe to the camps. I don't know it, but I want to say here, my family had Jewish neighbors, and they were the neighbors, my family were the neighbors who remained silent and didn't do anything. And I don't want to be the neighbor anymore who remains silent, but I want to stand up for Israel and for my Jewish friends and for my Jewish neighbors and say that you are not alone. And for me, as a descendant of Nazis, I want to say I stand side by side with you.
Okay, thank you so much. So Marcus is a high school teacher and also part of the band here. And I want to go on to Judith. Judith is a professional pilot. Judith, maybe you can share your family story.
Yes, my name is Judith, and I'm also part of the March of Life movement. And we also did research about our family because we didn't know anything about my great-grandfathers. And when we started the research, we found out that all 4 of my great-grandfathers were Nazis. One was printing Nazi propaganda, and the other 3 were part of the Wehrmacht all over Europe. One of them was also part of a massacre in Palmnicken, where in January 1945, around 3,000 Jewish women and children were killed brutally, and in such a cruelty I've never wrote about before that. But we found out about it, and it broke my heart, but it also changed my mind, because I know I have to do something with this history. And my great-grandfathers never spoke about it. We never heard anything about it, but we found out through the papers, and so I will not keep silent anymore.
So, Judith, what is your message today? What's important for you in these times of rising anti-Semitism?
So even before the 7th of October, it was clear for me to not stay silent anymore and raise my voice, but even more after what we saw and read about the 7th of October, what happened there, and also after the 7th of October, we saw all the anti-Semitism exploding around the world, and even more, I can feel there is a responsibility to not stay silent. And I will raise my voice everywhere I am, in my job, in my surrounding, everywhere, and say that Israel is not alone, and this will never happen again. And it's not history repeating itself, because now there are people like us, we can see our history, but we want to make a difference for the future.
Okay, so Jan, we continue with you. So maybe you can briefly share your family background.
Yes, I also want to say it's a privilege to be on this stage and to be with you together today and to hear your stories. And when I look at my family history, I have German and Austrian descent. And all of my family was involved in the Nazi time and was involved in the war. And I want to point out one story specifically today about my great-grandfather. His name is Leopold Auinger, and he was raised in Vienna, and he was in the Hitler Youth quite young. And he really made a career in the Nazi time, and he then joined the SS when he was older, and he went to Poland in 1939, and he did horrible things in Poland. He was part of murdering Jewish villages, and he was there to just bring horror to the Jewish people. He then went further to Belarus and to Russia, where he got wounded, and I didn't really had a chance to talk to him because I was very young when he died, but till the day of his death, he was still doing jokes about Jews, being anti-Semitic. He never repented, he never felt sorry, he still carried this ideology till his death. And I'm very sorry for my family history that he never repented and that my family was involved in such a crime. And he was actually my age when he joined the army, and he went through Poland and Belarus and Russia. And
so Jan, thank you for sharing this also very difficult story. But what does it mean for you in these times when you see something like October 7th happening, where Jews have been slaughtered again? What does it mean for you in these times? What are you doing?
I want to be a different generation because I think it's important to stand up for the right things. And I have the chance to make a difference, to be here with you, to be in Israel, in my generation, to support Israel in social media and to raise my voice and not be silent. And everywhere I go, I proclaim the truth. I speak truth about my family history. And also I say that Israel is not alone and that something like this must never happen again, and especially after October 7th, that we stand with Israel and with the Jewish people all around the world.
Thank you, Jan, so much. So this is Daisy Searing. She is a medical doctor and also an organizer of Marches of Life. She's been doing Marches of Life in her home village. And Daisy, maybe you can briefly share your family background.
Yes, my name is Daisy. I'm 37 years old, and both of my grandfathers were part of the Wehrmacht as soldiers. And one, Willi Syring, he was also in the political Nazi party, and he was in Russia and Italy. And when he came back home, he was a monster, and he hurt his family, and he almost killed them several times. So now I know he only became a monster, a man like this, because of the war and what he did in Russia and Italy. And at the end, about 60 years, he had to go to a psychiatric clinic. And when he died, he said to my aunt that he had done a lot of bad things and that he felt really guilty. And that's the reason why I am a part of March of Life, because I don't want to remain silent. I want to stand up for you. I love you, and I also I want to show you that we're really friends of you. And what I can do at my work, I can wear the Star of David to show that you are my friend, and we won't remain silent again.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank the panel members also for sharing about their family history. We know it's not easy to talk about family that openly, publicly, but it's so important because it's the truth and it is what happened. And we now want to commemorate several people together, and I would like to ask Dr. Hefti Soa to come to the front as well as Job Spittner. And we would like to also the panel members from the first and the second panel to go as a couple together and light a candle. And we will light a candle, first of all, in remembrance of the victims of the Holocaust, but also of the people who got killed on October 7th. We want to light a candle for the fallen soldiers, as well as the hostages who got murdered. And we want to light a candle for all those who've lost a father, a mother, a child, a brother, a sister in the last months. And I would like you to light a candle.
אנחנו מזמינים להדליק נרות זיכרון באופן סמלי עבור קורבנות השואה, קורבנות השביעי באוקטובר בפסטיבל הנובה, חיילים שנפלו במלחמות, בני הערובה, והיתומים, האלמנות והמשפחות שאיבדו את היקירים שלהם.
We would like to see now a dance also as a commemoration, and I would like to say a few words before. The dance is called Hashivenu, and I would like to read the text. It's the words of the prophet Jeremiah in the book of Lamentations, and it's an expression that we as Christians, Jews, and all people over the world, that we need God's grace and that we turn to Him in these very difficult times. And I will read the text and would like to ask the dancers then to come to the stage. The joy of our hearts has ceased. Our dancing has been turned to mourning. The crown has fallen from our head. Woe to us, for we have sinned. For this our heart has become sick. For these things our eyes have grown dim. For Mount Zion, which lies desolate, jackals prowl over it. But you, O Lord, reign forever. Your throne endures to all generations. Why do you forget us forever? Why do you forsake us for so many days? Restore us to yourself, O Lord, that we may be restored. Renew our days as of old. Hashivenu. Thank you for the dance.
תודה רבה. בשביל הריקוד.
It's really not easy to moderate when we have so many emotional and parts.
נכון.
Okay, yeah, we heard many emotional stories this morning, and we were able to look back into the history and to commemorate together.
שמענו הרבה סיפורים הבוקר, הסתכלנו אחורה בהיסטוריה ונזכרנו בכל מה שקרה.
But now we want to end the special morning with the message, Am Israel Chai.
אנחנו רוצים לסיים את הבוקר המיוחד הזה עם רעיון אחד, שזה עם ישראל חי.
It's a message that the people of Israel live, and this message has endured no matter what the circumstances were and no matter at what time in history.
זה רעיון שעם ישראל יש לו את זה תמיד, לא משנה מתי בהיסטוריה, איפה או באיזה סיטואציה אנחנו בו.
We will hear a last song, which is called Am Israel Chai, of our band, which is also called Be'er Sheva.
אנחנו נשמע שיר אחד אחרון שקוראים לו עם ישראל חי, מהתזמורת של באר שבע.
And after that, you will be able to go into the foyer, have some drinks and snacks, and talk about. We really encourage that Israelis and the international participants that you get to know each other, talk about the panel topics and your own family histories and experiences.
אחרי השיר יהיה הפסקה שאתם יכולים לדבר אחד עם השני, ואנחנו ממש נשמח אם אנשים מחו"ל ומישראל תדברו על מה שהיה ותתחברו, וזה ממש חשוב.
And we will meet in 20 minutes for the demonstration march, and be ready because Dana and we are Yeki, so you have to be on time.
20 דקות הפסקה, ואז נלך למצעד הקטן.
And now we want to ask the singers to come to the front with the song Am Israel Chai.
בקרוב תסחרח השמש, נדע ימים יפים מאלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי ים הנצח לעולם לא נחקת, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה קודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בירידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה, תעשה שלום בינינו, שבור על ילדינו, כי לא עבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל חי. הוא הצי נחלתנו, לא תפעול כעת רוחנו, מסביב ברצל של חרבות. ויונה תפרוס כנפיים, התקווה בת שנות 2000, עוד נצא לשיר ברחובות. כי ים הנצח לעולם המחקת, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בירידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא עבדה האמונה. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא עבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי.
You can
הפסקה,
stand
יאללה.
up, have a break.